Very difficult to make videos about mental health when you're having a wobble, whatever you want to call it, a down day. All of my confidence goes, my motivation drops, my ability to get stuff done, my productivity goes out the window, and I find myself standing in front of the fridge, looking into the fridge, thinking that if I put something in my mouth that would make me happy, or making endless cups of tea, or wanting to go down to the shop and buy some fags or a beer. And it's all escaping, isn't it, from a very indescribable feeling of, yeah. And I've woken up like that this morning, having reached the grand old age of 48 and experienced so much and learnt so much throughout my life and read so much psychotherapy surrounding work on trauma, surrounding self-help, and yet I reached a stage about 6 months ago, I think, where I just go, you've done so much and you know so much, but you're still having these dark days. The problem is I was almost overwhelmed by the amount I've read and the amount I've learned and what to do. You know, oh fuck, maybe I should write a gratitude journal, maybe I should meditate, maybe I should, I don't know, read something inspiring, maybe I should listen to music, maybe I should go on a run. Like, I'm not really motivated to do any of those things either. And it always comes when I'm either feeling overwhelmed or anxious about something. And on the face of it, I've got a lot in life. My career, my family, the place I live, my health. Yeah, there's so many things that I can be grateful for, but for some reason, the mornings when I wake up like this, I can't see any of the positives. I try and avoid social interactions when I feel like this. And I avoid making videos, which is why this one is unique, because I sort of like turn the camera on and just start filming, because you feel like a piece of shit and yet you have got a way of getting yourself out of it, but you haven't done it today. This is not an all down video. This is me actively, quite currently going, this is what I do. I drew myself a little pyramid and I'm gonna do this for you now. It's an amalgamation of all the things that I picked up that I feel like I need to remember, but I don't want to go to a list of stuff. I want it really, really, really simple. Something I can visualize in my head that I can go through, that by the end of it I can come out the other side and go, all right, I'm back. It's a square-based pyramid. The four sides of the square are four things that I think are key foundational things that I need to have, or I need to be doing in order to be okay. The first side of the square is presence. By presence I mean aware of my breath, aware of my feelings, aware of my thoughts, stepping back from my thoughts. I mean, I guess it's an Eastern sort of philosophy of, right, be present, wake up, be in the moment, and invariably I'm not, so that comes first. Sometimes it's breath work that helps me get back to present. Sometimes I just literally need to step back and stop and go, okay, those thoughts are going on, okay, you're feeling like this, I'm starting to get on the right track. The second one is surrender, and a lot of people might lump surrender and presence into the same thing, and if you're not into this sort of stuff, you probably think surrender sounds negative or weak or somehow not something that you'd want to do when you're feeling awful. But surrendering is just allowing everything that is to be. Your desire for how you want the world to be around you is not how the world is. So surrendering is just allowing the world to be as it is, even if you're stuck in a muddy swamp and you want to get out of it. The third one is gratitude. I have a huge amount to be grateful for. And I think somehow that feeling of bringing back to being going, look at where you're living, look at where you are. Look how happy the kids are and how well they're developing. That helps me come back. It's also not a selfish thing. It's not I want something, it's I'm almost giving gratitude in order to bring myself back into this place that I want to be. And the last one, generosity of spirit, or kindness. I'm going to write because it's just one word. I can tell whether I'm in a good place or not if I jump into a London taxi. If I just grunt and say the directions or where I want to go and don't engage him in conversation, it's probably because I'm not in a good place. And yet I could have the most amazing conversation with him and be interested in him and be sparky and funny and chatty. And I think that kindness, that giving, is a key part of these 4 things. So it's presence, surrender, gratitude, and kindness. In the road less traveled, there's 4 pillars of discipline, and I've changed one of them. They're fundamentally the same. The first one is delayed gratification. Doing the hard thing first, going on a run first thing in the morning so that you know that you've done the hard bit of the day and you can enjoy the rest of the day is part of it as well. Doing potentially perceived negative things before you do the positive things is a disciplined way to live. And I think delayed gratification is a key element of discipline and often quoted in books. I think the second one, total responsibility. If I don't have responsibility for my life, if I find myself griping and moaning and complaining about people, or complaining about Laura in my head, or complaining about the government and what they should do, then I've lost control. I'm giving away my power, essentially. I am responsible for my life. If my life's not good at the moment, the only person I can blame is me. For example, I have a potentially, on the face of it, amazing life, but essentially I'm freelance, so my money doesn't come in regularly. I don't get money into a bank account every month, a wage. And I love the freedom that is involved with that, but also I take responsibility for the fact that when the work isn't there and the calendar's a bit sparse at the moment, which is probably why I'm making this video, I need to take responsibility for that. You've chosen an adventurous life, and there's risks inherent in adventure, therefore, and one of the risks is a sort of instability. The third pillar is honesty. Dishonesty just confuses me. Why would anyone be dishonest? Like, if I lie to you, you don't even know what the truth is. It just adds a complexity to life which is unnecessary, and it's not even real. Every lie is obviously a lie and therefore is a falsity. So with other people and myself, I'm totally honest now, and I have to try and remain totally honest if I want to get myself to a balanced and good place, because dishonesty won't allow me to get there. And then the last pillar is consistency. Consistency is so important for discipline. None of these, I don't think, 4 pillars of discipline really work if you've not got the foundation. So for me, I have to work from the bottom upwards. I need to be present. I need to accept what is and surrender to life. I need to be grateful, and I need to have that generosity of spirit or kindness. Before I move on to the pillars, then delayed gratification. No, I'm not going to go and eat that cake. I'm going to do the hard things first. Total responsibility for my life. I am accepting that I am where I am now because of me. Honesty. Just throw the whole lot away, scrumple the piece of paper and throw it in the bin if you're going to be dishonest with yourself or with others. And consistency, day in, day out, is so important. And then, if we're not saying this is a pyramid anymore, if this is there's diffuser things that my wife uses that diffuse like lavender and stuff like that into the room. The essence that is coming out the top of my pyramid is inner joy. I believe the only measure of success in life is inner joy. Doesn't matter what car you drive or what TV you've got, or you've got a great career, or where you live, or any of that nonsense. If I build the base, if I then put in place all of the things I need to have discipline, which is in order to deal with the challenges and problems in life that we all face, then I'm grounded, I'm operating in a way that I want to operate, I've got discipline, I can solve the problems, I'm functional, and invariably, if I've gone through all of this, I feel in a much better place. And if I do this regularly, and I'm on top of myself, then the output is inner joy. And there's other outputs as well, like just relaxation, intimacy, for example. I find personally that goes out the window if I'm stressed, but intimacy, humor would be on the outside as well. Humor comes sparking back when I've put all of this in place. This is just my version of putting together a life's worth of experience, but also a life's worth of reading and therapy, or a latter half of my life worth of reading and therapy into one thing that just really helps me. I already feel better for having gone through that, even in such a public forum, but it might help, it might not, but I think fundamentally understanding yourself and understanding the things that you need to do each day in order to keep yourself on track is super important. Find a way of managing yourself, not just your mind. This is not just a mental thing, but your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul. Then life is hard, and I find life is so busy that often we neglect to do these important things to hold our own hand through life and allow us to navigate the stresses and strains and problems of life. But rather than shying away from it, this allows me to then go out into the world and be really proactive and go, do you know what? These aren't problems, these are challenges, and they're there to help me and they're there to allow me to grow. So it's all a positive thing, and I already feel more positive. Hope this helps just a tiny bit. And then the last thing, the big empty space at the bottom, is the motivation for doing the whole thing. And I don't know whether you can guess what my motivation might be, but I think it's everyone's motivation in life. And it's love. So I'm going to write that in. I'm not talking about romantic love, I'm not talking about falling in love and the butterflies you get, although that's a lovely feeling. I'm talking about love in terms of being a core motivation for living your best life. If I'm not feeling it myself, I think about my little boy when I come home from trips and the look on his face and just the running towards me and going, "Daddy," and giving me a massive hug, and it just makes me realise that there is love in my life. Love is the motivation to do absolutely everything, and you can know all of these things and just not do them. But I think the driving force for me, especially if you have dependents, is love, and that for me is the best way to kick the whole thing off.